Truckers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, everybody is following this wave of Democratic socialists. President Trump just saying that he believes not just socialism, but he calls it communism, the biggest threat to America. And joining us now to talk about this and so much more, I wrote a great column about it, is the great Bill O'Reilly. Bill, your thoughts about where all this is headed?
Well, number one, Rita, there's no such thing as a democratic socialist. Okay, it doesn't exist. There's no party in our history. There's never been a movement of such. These are communists. Now, how do you know they're communists? They want to control the means of production. So I wrote a column that you referenced on BillO'Reilly.com yesterday. And the means of production mean how you live. So Mandani, of course, freezes rents for 2 years. Landlords didn't have anything to say about that. Now he's going after groceries, going after food. So he's going to regulate the grocery stores that operate within New York City, make it very difficult for them to make a profit. And then his vision is, I'm going to set up my own food cooperatives. They're going to undercut the food distributors, and the city will be in charge of food and housing. And then it's going to be one after another. When you see that, that's communism, okay? Because communists don't believe in individual freedom. They believe that you should do what the state tells you, what the government tells you. Now, in our country, we haven't had much communist infiltration, but after World War II, the Soviet Union rose in ferocity, and we had to fight the Cold War, and it was a fight. And we won the situation because we bankrupted the Soviet Union. They weren't able to feed their people, and it collapsed. So now we have to go through this again. I guess it's a political trend that we all have to deal about. But to me, personally, these people are infringing on my freedom. So they're making it difficult for me to pursue happiness, to fulfill my aspirations in life. I don't want Mandani telling me what I can and can't do. I don't want that. Okay? I don't believe what he believes. And he'll go after religion. He's already not shown up to the Israeli parade every other mayor prior has. You know, you'll see that. And it's just going to be one after another after another. And every New Yorker should be very, very upset. But most of them don't even understand what is happening, unfortunately.
So how do you turn it around? Because I agree with you, Bill. It's very troubling.
Yeah, and I never predicted this. I wrote a book called Culture Warrior. It was 20 years ago.
I remember that, Bill. I remember when that came out.
And I predict what the progressives, how they would power among the have-nots would be to promise people who were not affluent that they were going to support them. And it's exactly what's going on here. But it's now on steroids. So you've got this communist movement. It has momentum. Speaker, the second in the House, Jeffries, supports it. I didn't hear any Democrats criticize it. Did you guys hear any Democrats criticize this movement?
Fetterman. He's the only one.
Yeah, but he's not really a Democrat.
Right.
He's a libertarian. I mean, he doesn't go party line. Interestingly enough, this happened on Theodore Roosevelt's term, and the country fissured. And Roosevelt, when he ran on second time, remember he was president because McKinley was assassinated. When he ran the second time, he couldn't secure the nomination. And so three people ran. Taft, Woodrow Wilson, and Theodore. And Wilson won because the others two divided it. So we've seen it before. But we have never seen the media enable this movement. Usually you would have the media just furious the Disneys, the Comcast would be, hey, you're going to cut into our profits. And believe me, they will. Okay, they being the communists will cut into their profits. And the media sits there and enables these people to do what they're doing. That's shocking.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. In fact, I was watching some of the interviews over the weekend. I mean, one example was it was ABC was talking to Mandani, and they asked the question, "What do you think about no prisons?" Because Chevalier, who's one of the ones who won the primary, said no prisons, and he gave this answer like, "Well, there are prisons." He didn't say no. It's sort of the same pattern of it's a very and the answer, the question should have been, "Wait, I'm sorry, you didn't answer the question."
Well, the progressive communist movement doesn't want prisons. They believe that if you commit a crime, even a violent one, society forced you to do it. As you have bad upbringing. So, today or this week is the anniversary of Kate Steinle, who was killed in San Francisco. You may remember that I launched a big national campaign, Kate's Law.
Yes, you did. You did a great job with that, Bill.
And Kate Steinle is walking with her father, and a guy comes up to her and shoots her dead. And the guy had been deported 5 times and come back 5 times and goes into court, and he's acquitted of murder and manslaughter. He gets convicted of a weapons crime. And the jury says, oh, we're acquitting him because he was mentally unbalanced. I mean, it was shocking. But in San Francisco, where the case took place, it isn't shocking. We don't want to put people in jail, in prison. We don't want to take them off the street because we believe it's not their fault. And boy, oh boy, in New York City, when you have 8.5 million people on top of one another, how dangerous is that?
The pulse of the people, Bill O'Reilly. Are we fighting a capitalism versus a socialism war? Or are we fighting a holy war?
Well, the holy war is part of it, and as I said, Mandani will get involved with that. It's just a when, not an if, because the communists, progressives, they don't want any religion, because if you have religion, you don't have full allegiance to the state, which is why the Soviet Union and China and Cuba all attacked religion. They don't want you participating in that. An interesting thing, I have a documentary on Thursday, Thursday evening, on July 2nd, I believe it is, on News Nation. And the documentary is about heroes and villains in a Revolutionary War, but not the English. It's the American colonists. Who were the heroes really, and who were the villains really? And there were people who did not want to join this country because of slavery, because they knew eventually slavery was going to be abolished, and they did not want that. And so they didn't want any part of the new United States. And it's all driven by, in my opinion, by personal profit and personal stuff. But what disturbs me the most, if you go to Coney Island over the weekend and you're out there having a Nathan's and on the beach, and you get into conversations with younger people, 35 and down, they're not going to know any of this. You're going to look at them. You're going to say, "Yeah, Mandami is a communist," and they what? They're not going to know any of it. And when you have a population that's ignorant / apathetic, anything could happen.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's why this is such a concern. One of the things, too, Bill, too, is that I was watching, like, over the weekend, even Mandani was saying, oh, yeah, I can see it in all over the country. Tomorrow there's a race in Colorado. There's also the guy, El Sayed in Michigan. I mean, this is not exclusive to New York.
No, look at Maine.
Yep.
I mean, you don't get a more traditional society than Maine. And you're going to cast a ballot for this Plantler guy? I don't think he's going to win. I saw the latest polling today, and Susan Collins probably beat him. But he's competitive. And, it does not get more traditional than Maine. And it's because of people do not know what the deuce is happening. And there are a lot of people who have given up. They don't want to compete. They don't have a lot of money. Okay, I just don't want to be in this system. It's too hard. Give me the money. Give me the food. Give me the rent. Go ahead, give it to me. I'll take it. And those people are foreign born. And California is the best example of that. Okay, because they don't know what our system is. And when Biden let in 10 to 15 million foreign-born people, and California does not require any valid ID to vote, you got a totally different electorate. You had that in New York.
Yeah, we had it big time. We saw that in the results, big time.
Right. You got a lot of people casting ballots here that are not eligible to vote because the Progressive Party does not want to enforce that, which is why 0 Democratic senators support the SAVE Act. Zero. No one.
And on top of that, 10 Democratic states don't want to go to Washington to celebrate 250 years.
Yeah, because that's just like the Civil War stuff. That's just like the stuff like, they being the founding fathers, had a real problem with some of those states getting them to sign the U.S. Constitution. They did not want to sign it because of personal stuff like slavery. That was the big driver back then. And we're now looking at a country that's fractured. And I'm not surprised that 10 states aren't going to show up. All of them are run by loons. All of them are telling you ICE is kicking your door in and going to come in and shoot your 5-year-old. And some people believe it.
Yeah,
and
it's so sad. It is sad, yeah. Bill. It really is sad that we've come to this state. Bill, thank you. You keep sounding the alarm. We love having you and love having your voice of common sense, Bill. Thank you so much.
We fight side by side.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me in.
Thank you, Bill. And